What's going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to talk to you about Fisker. I want to go over some of the current data points, what's been coming out from the company itself, and where I see things going from here. Before I get into any of that, make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's get right to it. So Fisker did close 4.73% in the green. A lot of volatility, so $1.64 the high, $1.52 is the low. It was lagging the other EVs, so such as even Lucid went up about 14.5%, Tesla 5%, Rivian 14%, Polestar 8.62%. So Fisker was lagging a little bit, but you can also tell at the same time, especially during power hour, the volume just massively dropped. Nobody was really getting into Fisker. Despite that though, about 25.64 million shares were traded, 23.59 is the average. Couple of things did come out as of late. So yesterday, this was the news. So Fisker opened service and delivery center in the San Diego area. Pretty good stuff, no matter what. This was a tweet, kind of puts in good perspective, I guess, saying that Fisker transforms former BMW, and goes over the address, into newly opened Center Plus location. So I think that's a fairly good thing for Fisker going forward, in addition to today's news, which was this. Fisker offers financing as low as 1.99% APR to US customers through Fisker Financing SM, and that's through their partnership with JP Morgan. It is between the dates of December the 1st, 2023 and January the 10th, 2024. So I kind of get the year-end push that they're trying to do. I'm not really sure why it's only up until January the 10th. More of a, I guess, promotional time. I'm not really sure, but no matter what, this should really drive a little bit more demand. So we'll just have to wait and see on the upcoming Q4 earnings to see if this was effective or not. At the same time though, this could also be seen as a little bit more of a cry for help, because I've seen a lot of other EVs do similar kind of promotions during the tail end of the year. And that's only because they are not really confident that they'll hit their year-end targets. So once again, it could mean something, might not mean anything. We'll just have to wait until their upcoming earnings to really signal if it is or not. When it comes down to the data points, oddly, despite the green day across the board, it wasn't really that optimistic. So for instance, with options, $664,000 in calls being purchased versus 6.24 million in puts. So based on this, people are anticipating for Fisker to continue to trend down. Of the call options that were purchased, it looks like there's a consensus that it's going to be above $1.50 by the end of Friday, so meaning tomorrow. So not really much upside, versus looking at the puts, it's anticipated to be below $1.50. So clearly that's a good pivot point. I'll go over some of the technicals with that in a second. There hasn't been any recent analyst ratings. So last one was from Citi, which they reduced their price target from $10 to $4, which $4 still isn't that bad if you think about it. But the analyst does have a 38% success rating, so not necessarily the best. So let me know your thoughts on analysts. Hopefully, based on looking at the upcoming estimates for earnings, it kind of looks like they are getting a little bit bearish. 4 weeks ago, it was estimated that it was going to be a loss for the earnings per share of -6 cents. Now it is 24 cents. So analysts turned very bearish on Fisker just in the short time period over the last week, which I don't really know if there's anything that's come out to really justify that. So let me know your thoughts. Why did analysts all of a sudden get extremely bearish on Fisker? But no matter what though, it does still show that they probably will be profitable, probably Q2 of 2025. I know that kind of seems like light years away, but still something to kind of consider. Looking at revenue though, it looks like analysts, similar nature to the earnings per share, went full on bearish. So it went from 521.38 million to 334.56 million. So once again, what's your thoughts on that? If you are looking for a lot of good compiled information, such as analyst ratings, forecasts, take a look at Interactive Brokers for all of this to be completely free. Link in the description below and also the comments. But despite the green day across the board, shorts were very active today. So I'll give you a quick overview of that. So technically they did increase 2.59 million shares today. 39.25% of the free float is being shorted. 84.08 million shares overall are being shorted, and cost to borrow average is about 10.7. Through Interactive Broker, short availability does indicate that there's about 450,000 shares available to be shorted. So shorts are kind of running out of ammunition a little bit, but at the same time, by them increasing their position today on a green day shows that they feel like it's not justified. So once again, you kind of have this as bearish data as well as the options. But keep in mind, when it comes down to options, it is just merely a sentiment. It does not move the stock price. But moving on from that, let's talk on the technicals. So with it at $1.55, which it closed at, it is between this S1 and the pivot, which in comparison to almost every EV, it is lagging. Most EVs were between ultimately the R2 and the R3. Some lagging ones were between the R1 and the R2. So Fisker has something fundamentally wrong with it that's not really luring in value investors. And I'm going to touch on that in a second. But $1.46 is going to be that next strong support, and $1.60, which it kind of broke past a little bit, but didn't really have enough to justify staying above that. So $1.60 is going to be that next strong resistance point to watch for tomorrow and going forward. And my apologies for my raspy voice. Hopefully you guys can understand me. But still, once again, technicals are kind of neutral. It's not really the best. It's not really the worst. It's just there. So give yourself a shout out. Have you been buying Fisker? Have you been selling? What did you do with Fisker today, for instance? But looking at the momentum indicator shows number of retail investors have been getting out. Oddly enough, not really sure why. Stochastic, you do see it at 11, no defined trend, but with it at 11, it is considered oversold. So typically whenever you get these value rallies in the broader market and you get a stock that is oversold, that stock skyrockets. So once again, this is another signal that there is something fundamentally wrong with Fisker. So obviously I have only started to kind of dabble with Fisker, just looking at it here and there. So let me know, is there something that I'm missing that is fundamentally wrong with Fisker? I know with the whole earnings, which I think the broader market knows what a mess up that was, but is there something deeper than that? Of course, with shorts being at a such high short interest, almost 40%, it definitely has been messing up something. But still, let me know your thoughts on all of this. In the short term, given the nature of what's been happening in the broader market, I do feel that it might test that $1.60 support, or sorry, resistance point tomorrow. And if it is unable to stay above that, then you are going to see it trace back down, potentially between this S2 and this S1. So very close to the 52-week and all-time low, which was at $1.35. So obviously not the best scenario, but it is what it is. That's just how the technicals will play out if it does not and it fails to stay above that $1.60. Let me know your thoughts on Fisker. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciate that. And one final thing, take advantage of this promo with Moomoo. Sign up for an account with Moomoo, throw $100 at it, and you get 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. So take advantage of that. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, I appreciate all of you watching.